Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a highlights video of the FIA Manufacturers race at Sardinia Sea in Group 4. So yeah, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button and give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and let me know in the comment section how your races went, what you think about this video when we get to the incidents that we're going to be talking about. But yeah, let's get on with the race. We're in top split for this one. First race of the day we're in split 2, but every other race we managed to get into top split, even though, yeah, our ratings weren't particularly great. But still, yeah, this race was slot number 3 of the day. Managed to qualify P8 in the Cayman, which I was actually pretty happy with in top split, if I'm honest, because the Cayman was okay. It was okay round here, but it just lacked a massive amount of power. It's really down on power for this track, but good on tyre wear, I suppose. So, you know, anything can happen. 55.5 was our qualifying time. So, yeah, pretty respectable. Let's see how this race went on. We're going to get to the main talking point of the title, as you can tell, of respect and stuff in FIA. I like Gran Turismo. The respect is normally very good on Gran Turismo, I find. You know, especially amongst drivers that race with each other week in, week out, you do find that people have a lot of respect. However, in the official seasons, you do tend to find a lot of people losing respect and doing anything they can to get a position out of a race, and it does get quite frustrating. But yeah, let's get on with this race. We're in P8. First off, we're just trying to stay in the slipstream because our car is massively underpowered. You'll be able to see it on the straights. Even in slipstream, we just keep losing time, or constantly. We've got Kylian behind us in the Ferrari. That Ferrari is going to be probably quite strong around this track because the Ferrari's a bit more powerful on the straights than the Cayman, but he runs a little bit wide there. That's going to give him dirty tyres. You might have seen it in the mirror. Probably going to have dirty tyres into turn 1. So yeah, we're just trying to sit in that slipstream with P7 at this moment. The Mazda is actually quite strong in a slipstream, I found. Seems to be quite a powerful car once in a slipstream, whereas the Cayman isn't really gaining much in the slipstream. I was quite surprised how slow it was. I think the Cayman's better in higher gears, so when it gets into 5th and 6th gear, like mainly 5th gear in a slipstream on the Cayman is quite strong because of the gearing, but this track don't really get into 5th gear, and I think that's what the problem might have been for the Cayman round here. So yeah, just seeing what we can do. You can see we've pretty much lost the slipstream to the car in front at this stage. So what my game plan was here was just use the racecraft. There's no point fighting Kylian behind us because I know he's faster than me in that Ferrari. I know the Ferrari is more suited to the track. So what you'll see me do is I'm not going to battle him, because if I battle him, all I'm going to do is let the cars behind him catch us up, and then we've got more cars involved. Then it gets messy. So yeah, we're going to use racecraft. It's pretty simple. We let him go on the inside, and then what you'll see me do is just lift out the throttle a little bit before we get into the braking zone and brake a little bit early. So yeah, look, off the throttle, let him tuck in, get the normal racing line through the corners. He doesn't lose any time then. I don't lose any real time because I've now got the slipstream. And it's something I wish more people would think of when they're racing. I see so many times, I think there's an example in this race as well, where people, they battle stuff that causes themselves to lose positions in a race. Because, you know, if their car's fading off, you know, if they just want to hold on to the position at all costs. There comes a point where you've got to think of your race position at the end of the race, not at just that instant point. So again, we just let Kylian go. We're going to sit behind him, and we're going to use his slipstream to, 1, help our race pace, and 2, help our tyres. Because if we're in his slipstream, we also end up with better tyre wear. It's a fact on Gran Turismo Sport. It's not the most realistic thing that happens, but you kind of do it yourself as well, because you brake a little bit earlier. You tend to brake a little bit more smoothly. You're a bit more smoother on the power because you've got that slipstream to help you along. But yeah, one thing I noticed, which you might have seen then, going down the straight in Kylian's slipstream, we basically didn't gain anything on that Ferrari. So for some reason, the Cayman at this track just had a severe lack of power. This is again pointing to my thing where I think it's the 5th gear. It seems to kick in a bit in 5th gear when you're in the Cayman. But yeah, you can see we skipped a little bit further ahead, and we're still in the slipstream to kill him, just trying to use him to help us get into that battle. And it's actually working. We're getting very close to the battle for, I think it's P3. I think P1 and P2 have built up a little bit of a gap in the FF cars. They were very dominant round here, although tyre wear was a bit of an issue, but I don't think it was that bad for this combination because it was actually very low. I think it was like ×5 multiplier. And yeah, racing hard tyres ×5 multiplier doesn't actually give you that much tyre wear. So you can see on the replay camera, he is definitely approaching that slipstream of the Mazda in front of us. and we're definitely getting close. You can see into the braking zone. A lot of, you can see the pinball physics going on there with cars hitting each other and stuff like that. It's one thing I hope they can kind of get on top of for GT7. But the good thing is we're now all in the slipstream line. We're only 4 seconds off the lead on this race, and I think we're only a couple of seconds behind P3. So at this point in the race, we're looking pretty good. We're building up quite a nice gap to P10. I think we're over 2 seconds. However, if we all start battling during this race, that's when we're going to probably bring other people into the battle. But at the moment, it's looking pretty good. We're just trying to stay in the slipstream with Killian. You can see through the corners, Cayman was brilliant. This corner in particular, the Cayman felt very strong. You see, I actually gained quite a bit through that corner. But then as soon as we get to the power zones, however, this power zone was not too bad. Downhill sections, for some reason, with the Cayman don't seem to be an issue. It's mainly when it gets to the uphill sections as we get into this break. It's a very tricky corner to get the braking. But I found that the best thing to do at corners is just lift off before the apex, downshift early and slowly. Don't just downshift really fast, because that seems to lock the differential up. Just be nice and smooth with the downshifting. Brake progressively into the corner and just do it as smooth as you can. Because then you don't risk hitting anyone as well. It was the safest way to do it. So we're now approaching Killian. You can see Killian is right behind that Corvette, who's right behind the Mazda as well. It looks like the Mazda's starting to hold some drivers up. I think that Killian's definitely got more pace than the drivers in front. I think at this stage now, our pace was looking pretty good. As the Mazda goes off track there, gets some dirty tyres. Lucky for Killian, he managed to make that move. But unfortunately for me, we're just going to get stuck behind the Mazda with the dirty tyres, and we lose out there quite annoyingly, because that Mazda's starting to struggle at this point in the race with the tyre wear for some reason. I don't know why, because I think the Mazda should have been... I would think it should have been able to survive to the end. Maybe he wasn't looking after tyres enough, maybe brake bias, I don't know, but it should have been able to survive pretty comfortable, I would think, to the end. If the FF cars can do it, then I would have thought the Mazda could do it as well, because Mazda's not the worst car on tyre wear. I know it's four-wheel drive, but it should be able to survive it. But you can see he's just about stayed in the slipstream to the Corvette. We're just trying to see if we can find a way past this Mazda now. So at this point, this is, again, leads to a bit of racecraft. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Sometimes drivers, like, they battle stuff and they fight stuff and they cause themselves to lose positions, as we see. He's going to defend this, obviously, which I understand. He's still in the slipstream to P7. He wants to try and hold on to P8, but the issue comes a little bit further on in the race when you're going to see something that I think he should have been a little bit more... he should have been thinking a bit more about his overall race position rather than where he is at that point of the race, which I get it, it's a race and you want to fight for every position, but sometimes fighting for every position will cost you places by the end of the race. So yeah, you can see luckily at the moment we're still just about in the slipstream. However, you can see through the corners, you can see that the Mazda's really struggling. So through here you'll see that we tend to gain on the entry into the corner, and also any fast corners he seems to struggle a bit. Maybe his front tyres are starting to fade, getting a bit of understeer. But as we come to this really fast left-hand corner again, this is where the Cayman was pretty strong. I think he might run wide a bit there again, though he's okay on this lap. He actually does that reasonably well, and he's actually, I think he's actually in the slipstream at this stage of the race, as we're on lap 16 out of 25. Over about 2/3 of the way through, something like that. We've got a few laps to go, but look how close it's developing up in front of us. A lot of close battling going on. There's a bit of a gap developed though between Killian and I think it's Giorgio in the Aston Martin, where obviously that little bit of battling where the Mazda made the mistake. We're going to fast forward a little bit here as we come to this left-hander, and you're going to see again, this is where the Mazda just seems to be struggling. He runs a little bit wide. Luckily for me, I think we kept our left-hand tyre on the curb, although I'm not sure, we might have run wide as well. But you can see he's really struggling. You can see even through there with the dirty tyres, or whether he had them or not, he just doesn't seem to have much grip, and he brakes very early, nearly catches me out, but we managed to slow it down so that we don't hit him. And then again, very awkwardly on the power, because I just couldn't get on the throttle in the Cayman, because if I got on the throttle too early, we would have hit him. So I made sure that we didn't do that. And then again, you can see he's pretty much losing the slipstream now as we fast forward the action again, as we come through to this left-hander, and you can see the gap up ahead and how much faster we are through the corners now. And this is the stage where I think to myself, sometimes it might have been better for him to just let us go in the braking zone, tuck him behind us, bump draft us, and then try and get us back into the battle of the group, the cars ahead of us. Because his car clearly has got no grip left on it. You can see through here, he's just got nothing left. Look at the extra grip we've got on the Cayman. The only problem we have is a severe lack of acceleration. But going down here, you're going to see, I think he puts his hazards on. Look, so he's putting his hazards on. So from my point of view, that it means go for the move. He's not closing the door. He's put the hazards on. So I think, right, he's letting us through. So we go down the inside. However, he hangs it on the outside here, kind of fights it. And this is really baffling, because if you do this, you both lose time. If you're going to let someone through, just let them through, because now he's hanging on the outside again. We can't take the normal line through here. And then look in the mirror now. As we go through this corner, the chasing group have caught his slipstream. And this is where a bit of racecraft would have come into play. All he had to do was similar to what we did with Killian. Tuck him behind us, bump draft us, he stays away from the slipstream, and then we see if we can catch up the group ahead when they start battling. And we probably keep the chasing group out of our slipstream, because the Cayman at this stage was in pretty good condition for the tyres. But yeah, a bit of a strange one, kind of frustrating. You can see we actually pulled out a bit of a gap. He lost more places because his tyres were fading as we skip ahead in the race, and we're now into P8. So going okay, you know, we're back into P8. We've got a bit of a gap in front of us. We can't really fight for any of them positions up ahead now because we lost too much time with the Mazda. But yeah, this is, again, it really is a lot of it is about racecraft. If you can just use other cars to help your race position, it will become an advantage at the end. I mean, it's proved it in this one. He's battling with cars. He's battling with a Cayman now behind him, and yeah, it shows you that if you race smart, sometimes you improve your own position as well. But unfortunately for us in this race, we've kind of lost a few positions because of it. But yeah, the real problem of this race is going to kick off on the final lap. So yeah, we were trying to drive pretty smart here, but unfortunately this lap, you can see I just missed the braking zone. The car just didn't want to turn in. That gave the Jaguar the slipstream. So we're going to go down the left hand side, try and break that slipstream. And you can see the good thing is at the moment the Jag seem to be struggling for front end grip quite badly. Didn't seem to have much grip on the front at all. He was really struggling as we fast forward the action. So through the fast corners, we were actually pulling away from him a bit and keeping him a nice distance away from us in the danger zones where he could go for a move for example the final corner or turn one. So yeah, we're fast forwarding as we see there a Spider. He'd been took out I think Killian had hit Giorgio, who had then hit into him. So unfortunately for Spider, he lost the position there because of that. But as we come through this final corner, trying to make sure that we don't go wide again, and we see that Jaguar behind again, losing a bit of time on the exit. But we're going to have to go defensive now because that Jaguar is going to be very, very fast down this straight. But you're going to see enough. This last lap was an absolute mess, I have to say. So we're going down the left hand side. You can see he's going to go down the right hand side. We take the middle of the track. He tries to do some sort of cutback and hits the rear of my car. And yeah, I braked pretty much at the limit of the braking point, but he was heading off into the wall. If he didn't hit me, he would have ended up in the wall. But he hits us, helps him slow down. He takes the position. Now we got Spider on our outside. Luckily, I know Spider's not going to just cut us up. Spider's a clean driver. So again, you can see we give Spider space, he gives us space, and we keep that position. So quite annoyed with the driver in P7 at this stage. He did apologise. I will get to that after. But going into this final corner, we're braking nice and early, making sure we don't run wide. Down second again, we get hit by multiple cars, and yeah, really annoyed. You can see how annoyed I am. I'm proper angry at the situation because someone has just dived their way up the inside, bumped into a load of different cars, and basically took everyone out. So yeah, quite a frustrating last lap, as you can tell. We get from a P7 to P12 through no fault of our own. We'll go through the replay now and I'll show you what exactly happened. So this was the move with the car behind us there, the GTS driver. Hits us in the braking zone. Kind of a silly move. He didn't really get that right at all. It was too late to try and do that in the braking zone. And yeah, he did send an apology saying that he was going to let us back through on the final lap. But to be honest, if you're going to do it straight away, because there's no proof you were going to do it. In my opinion, you need to do it when you do the move. Don't just wait until, oh well, I was going to wait until the final, for the line, start finishing line. Honestly, if you do something like that, show some respect and do it straight away. If I've ever done stuff like that, I would normally wait for the driver straight away, and it does get quite frustrating. But he did apologise at least. He said sorry. That's fair enough. Forgotten about that one. But this one by Pock, I have to mention this because I find this really disrespectful. I don't think he's deliberately done it. I think it's a mistake, probably in the braking, but he misbrakes it, hits the driver in front, which hits that Subaru out, hits me out. He takes 3 positions from that, then nearly drives the other car off the track and does not wait. This really angers me, I have to say, because he's just abusing the game. He's like, oh well, I took 3 drivers out, I don't care, I'm just going to carry on and take the 3 position because it's a bit more points for me. So disrespectful, and it's not the way to get people to race fair with you, because I'll guarantee you other drivers with him now, if they come up to a position with him, they ain't going to give him as much respect, because it's just dirty driving in my view. He might have made a mistake, I think he probably did, but the fact that he didn't then wait and say, do you know what, that's on me, I'm going to let them drivers back through and I'm going to take a loss of points, because at the end of the day, a P8's not going to give you enough points anyway. It was like 280 points or something like that. But anyway, we would have come away with that race with 307 points, I think it was, for P7. But unfortunately, other drivers put paid to that. Not much we could do. And yeah, a bit of a disappointing day, because we went back into the 4th slot of the day and 10 drivers got disconnected, including myself. So the GT Sport servers clearly not having a good day on the game. So yeah, we decided not to waste our time in the final slot, because it would have meant waiting around for over an hour. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comment section what your experience of this race was. I did see quite a few people getting quite angry at this race with other lobbies, etc. throughout the day, and I think there was a lot of iffy driving because of that final corner going on. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, and we'll be back with more videos and live streams in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Bye.